welcome back to On the Couch with Tony and Nikki. And this week's subject is a fascinating subject, in fact, and something that we all love to do at some stage of our life, which is the subject of
kissing.
Kissing, indeed.
I thought you were going to kiss me then. I've got my lipstick on, of course. Yeah, I mean, we just love talking about this, and it's so important to your relationship, isn't it? I mean, right at the beginning, when you first get together, and also as your relationship goes on, the kissing is very, very important.
Yes, and sometimes
so we want to talk to
it just slows down, stops, and maybe even disappears completely from your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the two parts of kissing. The when you first get together, it's like body language. Yeah, there's some great keys and tips and things that you can recognise as to whether this is the right person for you.
Yeah, I mean, people are always asking me that question. How do you know it's the right person? And, I have two real quick stories which were so important for me when I was deciding, in the moment, whether this was the right man for me, and of course he is. And that was, first of all, Tony did me a bit of a massage, which was his specialised subject, absolutely fantastic. And I was not attracted to him before that, physically, kind of was like going, he's a great guy, and why can't I meet somebody else like that, And then he'd give me this massage, and I am like going, oh my God, if he doesn't kiss me in a moment, I will burst. And so that was a really good sign for me. And then when he did kiss me, we've had the most amazing breakthrough, didn't we? Because we found that we were doing it very differently than we had in the past.
Yeah, and in our book, well, we were telling you about last week, our book on multiple orgasms, in chapter 5, we decided this was such a poignant moment for us in our lives that we'd write a chapter in our book about it. Yeah. And we did actually notice that there was some special thing that sort of happened to us internally. It was like an intuitive message is a good way. I mean, obviously, people have an intuitive message come to them. And it was a very intuitive message that this felt right,
Yeah, and also what we really noticed was the difference between what had happened in the past when we were not in our firm masculine and firm feminine, we were in a different space, that we really found that, oh my God, we are doing this in a different way. And the way that we kind of describe that is that, Tony was kissing me, kind of taking me,
sort of like what we would describe as owning the situation.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
In other words, the man was in charge, made the move towards, and then with no fear, total certainty this is the right thing to do. And this, of course, gets a massive result from the woman.
Yeah, and I noticed that what was happening for me was that I was being kissed, rather than, what was happening in the past for me was when I was in more of a masculine state, was that I was doing the kissing, or it was a kind of half and half thing. And, we found this new thing that happened to us. I mean, we didn't kind of get taught it. What happened to us that we were in our masculine and feminine, so kissing was a completely different experience for us than it had been in the past. And you always say, don't you, that the sad thing about most relationships is that the kissing kind of dries up, doesn't it?
Disappears. Where does it go to? People stop doing this. Maybe a peck on the cheek when they walk out the door, and if they're lucky, a kiss, hello, as they come home from work or whatever.
Yeah.
But, what's so fascinating, especially for the guys, women love to be kissed.
Yes.
I mean, they just love it. And, maybe there's a woman out there who's got a hand up going, I don't like to be kissed.
Yeah, but that's likely because she's had a bad experience.
That's possible, yes, indeed, that's very true. And I think the thing is that, with knowing that women like to be kissed as a guy is a fantastic piece of information. But, of course, you've got to move towards them with absolute certainty that you're, in control. If you sort of don't take control of the situation, then that makes them think you're not certain enough, and they sort of move away from you a little bit.
Yeah, because women like being kissed, and we want to be kind of taken. We want a man to move towards us rather than us. I always think when we watch films, it's kind of spoiled it for us. Isn't it? We watch films like Love Actually, which comes to mind, when these two people got together and she kissed him first. We're going, no, that's not good. Because actually, what's interesting is that will probably create that kind of effect on their relationship long term, and that's why long term it's so important to have that kissing part of your relationship. I mean, it just never stops feeling great for us.
Yeah, so the point of this is, ultimately what we're saying is, men are born to be leaders and women are born to sort of support and stand beside them in their greatness. And if you take that into the world of kissing, you will get a completely different experience than if you're going into equality and sharing it. So,
Absolutely.
That's our thing for this week. we suggest you give it a go. And if you're a guy and you haven't kissed
notice.
your wife for a long time, or your girlfriend,
Yeah.
get in there and give her some kissing, and you'll see the magic that happens when you're certain and you know what you're doing. You just go and take her. Yeah?
Yeah, and if you're in that kind of is this the right person for me kind of thing, absolutely notice what is happening on the kissing front, because that's going to tell you how that relationship's going to work.
Great, and if you want any help on the kissing front, of course, just press the old email thing on YouTube or ask us any questions and we'll come back and answer them another day. So that's it from the couch this week with Tony and Nikki V, and we'll be
off
seeing you
kissing.
next week. She's got a lipstick on, so we've got to leave it out at the moment. Okay, speak to you then.
Bye.
Bye.